Welcome back, traveler. Tonight we drift through science. Have you ever wondered why the universe exists at all? Why there's something instead of nothing? Why every particle, every planet, and every thought doesn't simply dissolve into silence? For all its chaos, the cosmos obeys invisible rules, four fundamental forces that hold reality together, binding stars, atoms, and even you. Without them, existence would unravel in a heartbeat. These quiet forces are gravity, electromagnetism, and the two nuclear interactions, each whispering the laws that let reality happen. Outside your window, the world turns in calm motion. The night sky stretches endlessly, sprinkled with frozen light that's anything but still. Somewhere out there, galaxies twist in slow spirals, pulled by gravity's invisible hand. Even here in your body, those same forces hum, holding molecules, shaping heartbeat, anchoring you to Earth as it spins through space. You are not separate from the universe's machinery. You are part of its design, moving with every unseen current that keeps the cosmos whole. We often think of physics as cold or distant, but tonight, it's poetry. Each of these four forces is a note in the grand symphony of existence. Gravity conducts the dance of stars. Electromagnetism paints color and light. The strong nuclear force binds the heart of every atom, while the weak one allows transformation, decay, rebirth, change. Together, they build everything we've ever touched, seen, or dreamed. To understand them is to glimpse the blueprint of being itself. If calm science helps you unwind, if quiet curiosity brings peace, a gentle like or a soft tap on subscribe helps others find this corner of the cosmos too. It's how these stories keep drifting into kind minds across the world. Your presence here keeps this universe of wonder alive. So tonight, let's wander through creation's hidden architecture. We'll travel from the core of atoms to the edge of galaxies, tracing the four invisible hands that sculpt existence. By the end, you may realize that the same laws binding the stars are the ones that hold you. Now take a deep breath. Our journey begins with the first force, gravity, the quiet architect of everything that exists. Gravity is the gentlest of all forces, and yet it shapes everything you've ever known. It's the quiet hand that keeps the moon loyal to Earth, the sun tethered to the Milky Way, and your feet softly pressed to the ground as you breathe. Unlike other forces, it doesn't shout, it whispers, endlessly patient. Over billions of years, it sculpted galaxies from chaos, drawing dust into stars and stars into systems. Without gravity, there would be no structure, no time, no home. Imagine space before gravity began its long work, just a sea of particles, drifting without pattern or promise. Then slowly, attraction began, tiny ripples in the cosmic fabric pulling one speck toward another. That first embrace was the beginning of form, the start of everything that would one day breathe, shine, and think. Gravity was not born in violence, but in longing, the universe's desire to gather itself. Every moment, gravity curves the space around you. It bends not only light and matter, but time itself. When you drop a pebble into water, ripples spread outward. When mass sits in space, gravity ripples through the invisible geometry of existence. Einstein taught us this, that gravity is not a pull but a bend, a shape in the fabric of space-time. You are falling endlessly, not downward, but along a curved path carved by the planet beneath you. To grasp gravity is to understand motion as art. The planets don't orbit because they are forced. They fall around the sun in an eternal dance of surrender. The moon doesn't circle Earth because it's trapped. It's in love with its path. Everything that moves through space is following the quiet choreography written by mass and time. Even light, that restless traveler, cannot resist gravity's invitation. Black holes are gravity's most intimate secret. Imagine so much mass compressed into so little space that even light can't escape. The boundary, the event horizon, is not a wall, but a silence so deep that information itself cannot cross it. Inside, gravity wins completely. Space folds into memory, time loses meaning, and yet, black holes are not monsters. They're archives, preserving what the universe once was. In a sense, gravity remembers. It stores the history of movement, of collapse, of formation. The curve of a galaxy tells the story of its birth. The orbit of a planet carries the memory of its first fall. You are surrounded by invisible narratives written in motion. When you walk, jump, or dream of flight, you are retelling the universe's oldest story, one of falling gracefully through curved time. Here on Earth, gravity gives you weight, but also rhythm. It shapes how your blood flows, how trees grow, how oceans breathe. Tides rise and fall because of the moon's gentle pull, two bodies in constant conversation across 384,000 kilometers. Without gravity, water would not know where to rest. Mountains would drift into dust. You too would lose your sense of place. And yet, gravity is unimaginably weak. Compared to electromagnetism, it is 10 to 36 times smaller. You can lift a spoon with your hand, overpowering the gravitational pull of an entire planet. It is humbling that such a frail force rules the cosmos. Its strength lies in persistence. It never sleeps, never cancels, never fades with polarity. It is weakness that becomes eternity. Astronomers measure gravity not by force, but by consequence. The orbits of stars around black holes, the way galaxies cluster, the bending of light across billions of years, all testify to its presence. Even dark matter, that mysterious scaffolding holding the universe together, is known only through its gravitational fingerprints. We see the invisible through the way it tugs at light. If you could float far enough into space, away from every planet and star, gravity would still be with you, soft, constant, infinite. It stretches across time, a connection that refuses to break. You might drift for centuries, but you'd never be free from its reach. Gravity is the thread that refuses to let the universe unravel. On human scales, gravity feels domestic. It's in your spine when you stretch in the morning, in the way rain falls, in the way sleep anchors you to your bed. It's the gentle reminder that you belong here, that you are part of the same equation that binds suns and galaxies. Every fall you've ever taken, every step you've ever climbed, has been a conversation with it. Think of gravity as the universe's lullaby. It sings everything to rest, planets into orbit, dust into stars, you into dreams. When you sleep, you surrender to its pull, trusting that you'll wake in the same place. Even the night sky is a portrait of its music, stars arranged by gravity's hand, their light curved by its quiet will. If gravity vanished, so would time as we know it. Because mass and energy bend time, removing that bend would make moments lose their order. Clocks would disagree, not because they were broken, but because time itself would be meaningless. Gravity then isn't just shape, it's sequence. It tells the universe when to happen. The expansion of the universe is a gentle rebellion against gravity's embrace. Space itself stretches and galaxies drift apart, yet gravity still tries to gather, to hold. There is a balance between attraction and expansion, a cosmic tension that defines everything from galaxies to breath. In that tension lies beauty. The universe wants to grow, but also to remember its center. Even black holes, gravity's triumph, eventually whisper to the void. Through Hawking radiation, they lose mass atom by atom, glowing faintly as they fade. Gravity, the collector, becomes the giver. Over eternity, even the darkest places will dissolve into light again. The universe, as it seems, values symmetry over possession. When you drop a stone, you are reenacting cosmic creation. The same force pulling that pebble is the one that forged stars. The difference is scale, not nature. Gravity is the same everywhere. From a falling apple to a collapsing galaxy, it is unity made visible, the bridge between the human and the infinite. To study gravity is to study belonging. It explains why everything falls together rather than apart. Even at the level of thought, the metaphor persists, love as gravity, loss as weightlessness, connection as orbit. Perhaps we borrow these images because deep down we recognize the truth. We are bound not only by physics but by longing. NASA's Voyager probes, drifting beyond our solar system, still feel the faint hand of the sun's gravity. Billions of kilometers away, that invisible tie remains, a reminder that distance never equals separation. Like memories, gravity fades but never ends. It's the promise that no matter how far we drift, we remain part of something larger. Some physicists dream of uniting gravity with quantum mechanics, the elusive theory of everything. But maybe gravity resists because it doesn't belong to equations alone. It belongs to emotion, to continuity, to the slow, patient heartbeat of existence. It is both science and story, measurable yet deeply human. Einstein once wrote that gravity is geometry, but he might have added, it is empathy too. It bends not to dominate, but to connect. It doesn't command, it persuades. Everything that exists listens to its curve, following willingly. Gravity is proof that power and gentleness can be the same thing. When stars collapse, when planets cool, when galaxies drift apart, gravity remains the last conversation. It speaks when all others end. The universe will one day fade into silence, but even then, its fabric will still curve faintly, remembering that once, everything wanted to be close. So when you feel small beneath the stars, remember this. You are held by the same hand that shaped them. The force that builds worlds is the one keeping you grounded now. You are not beneath gravity. You are gravity, expressed in a momentary human form. And as we drift further tonight, we'll meet the second great force of creation, the one that paints the universe in color, that lets light travel and atoms breathe, electromagnetism, the artist of reality. If gravity builds the stage, electromagnetism paints the scene. It is the artist of the universe, the sculptor of color, the weaver of light, the invisible force that turns lifeless matter into spectacle. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, every flicker of thought in your mind is shaped by its rhythm. Where gravity pulls, electromagnetism dances. Together, they balance structure and expression, the bones and the soul of reality. Electromagnetism begins with charge. Every proton, every electron carries an identity, positive or negative. Those identities attract and repel in endless harmony, creating the textures of existence. If you press your palm against a table, the reason you don't fall through it is electromagnetism. The electrons in your skin resist those in the wood. Every touch, every boundary, every spark of friction is a conversation between charges. Unlike gravity, electromagnetism can both connect and separate. Its push and pull define the shape of everything from atoms to auroras. It sculpts the boundaries of stars, ignites the flow of electricity, and draws the brushstrokes of light that paint the cosmos. If gravity teaches unity, electromagnetism teaches tension, the kind that keeps creation alive. Light itself is its voice. When electrons dance around nuclei, they sing energy into space, and that vibration becomes illumination. The entire spectrum, from radio waves to gamma rays, is a language spoken by electromagnetism. You are surrounded by it, bathed in its frequencies. The warmth on your skin, the colors your eyes translate into wonder, the signals carrying this very story into your ears. To understand light is to understand time. Photons travel at a constant speed, no matter the observer, no matter the source. For them, time does not pass. Every photon that leaves a star arrives here with no sense of journey. It experiences the entire distance as one eternal instant. In its world, there is no before or after, only the eternal present. Light is existence without waiting. Imagine, for a moment, the last time you saw lightning. That blinding thread was pure electromagnetism, charge balancing itself across sky and ground, air splitting to make way for equilibrium. And the thunder that followed. That was the sound of balance restored. Even in its violence, electromagnetism seeks peace. It never destroys, it harmonizes. At microscopic scales, this harmony becomes more delicate. Inside every atom, electrons orbit their nuclei not as tiny planets, but as shimmering clouds of probability, guided by electromagnetic force. It is this invisible balance that gives atoms their identity, molecules their bonds, and matter its stability. Every breath you take depends on the gentle persuasion between positive and negative. Without electromagnetism, atoms would collapse, chemistry would vanish, the universe would be a silent fog of unbound particles. There would be no color, no warmth, no life. The sun would not shine. Your eyes would not see. Your thoughts, carried by electric impulses through neurons, would never spark. Everything vivid would dissolve into gray nothingness. The same force that gives you sight also gives you memory. Neurons communicate through electric signals, tiny arcs of charge leaping across synapses. Every thought you've ever had, every dream you've ever forgotten, was written in electricity. The human mind is not just shaped by electromagnetism, it is electromagnetism in motion, a living storm contained within bone. When we look at galaxies through telescopes, what we truly see is light, ancient electromagnetic echoes traveling billions of years to reach our eyes. Some of that light left its source before Earth even existed, carrying stories across time. When you gaze at a star, you are reading a letter written long before your birth, written in the only ink the universe knows, radiance. The beauty of electromagnetism lies in its paradox. It is both infinite and intimate, cosmic and personal. It binds stars and fuels your heartbeat, lights distant quasars and powers the glow of a single candle. It teaches us that scale is irrelevant, that the same laws guiding galaxies apply within the pulse of your wrist. Through the lens of science, light behaves like both wave and particle. It refuses to choose. That duality unsettled physicists for centuries, but perhaps it shouldn't. After all, the universe itself is both tangible and ethereal, precise and poetic. Maybe electromagnetism mirrors the universe's own uncertainty, the truth that reality doesn't need to fit into one category to be complete. Einstein called it the electrodynamics of moving bodies. Maxwell called it beauty expressed in mathematics. But for the poet, it is simply the breath of creation. Every wavelength, every spark, every reflection is the universe seeing itself moment by moment. Without electromagnetism, reality would be invisible to itself. If gravity defines belonging, electromagnetism defines interaction. It's the handshake between particles, the spark between ideas, the glow that makes connection possible. You cannot touch without it. You cannot see, or think, or love without it. Every hug, every kiss, every shared gaze under starlight is electromagnetism at work, physics performing tenderness. The northern lights are its signature written across the sky. When charged particles from the sun meet Earth's magnetic field, they dance in ribbons of green and violet flame. It is the cosmos made visible, a reminder that the same forces guiding stars can paint the air above your head. People call it beauty, but it is really balance, magnetism made poetry. In laboratories, scientists have learned to bend electromagnetism to their will, building generators, circuits, and communication across the planet. But even the most advanced machines are mere imitations of what nature does effortlessly. Every heartbeat is a pulse generator, every lightning bolt a power station, every sunset an experiment in refraction. Consider how light behaves when it meets darkness. It doesn't fight, it transforms, it bends, scatters, softens. It reveals detail rather than destroying shadow. That's electromagnetism's truest lesson. Strength need not be violent. It can be graceful, revealing instead of conquering. Power, in its highest form, is gentle illumination. And just as gravity bends space, electromagnetism sculpts emotion. The colors we see trigger memories, moods, and meaning. A golden dawn feels warm, not because of heat alone, but because light itself resonates with the chemistry of perception. The universe built not only matter, but experience. A feedback loop between photons and feeling. Every star that burns, every nebula that glows, is powered by electromagnetism guiding fusion, the dance of charged particles that keeps the cosmos alive. Light is simply matter celebrating its own energy. Each photon that escapes a star is a declaration, I exist and I am free. In the emptiest vacuum, photons still move, restless travelers carrying the memory of creation. Their journey never ends. They scatter, reflect, and reassemble into new forms of light. A candle's flame may die, but its photons continue, diffused into the air, absorbed by leaves, skin, clouds, eyes. Nothing illuminated is ever truly lost. In your lifetime, trillions of photons will touch you and leave, reflections of sunsets, the blue of morning, the soft white of moonlight. You are bathed constantly in their silent grace. They enter, bounce, and depart, leaving warmth behind. A conversation too subtle to hear but too constant to deny. And when night falls, the last glimmers of sunlight curve around the world, scattering into deep hues of violet and indigo. That fading light isn't disappearance, it's transformation, a reminder that even endings radiate beauty. Electromagnetism doesn't stop. It shifts. Evolving into darkness, we can rest inside. So as you listen to this calm universe unfold, remember, you are made of charge and light. The same energy that flows through stars flickers behind your eyes. You are not separate from brightness. You are its echo. And now, we travel deeper still toward the next mystery. The strong nuclear force, the invisible glue that holds the heart of matter itself. Deep within every atom lies a paradox. Particles that should fly apart, yet never do. Protons, each positively charged, should repel each other violently, and yet they remain locked together at the heart of the nucleus, bound by a power far stronger than electromagnetism, far older than light itself. This is the strong nuclear force, the universe's most intimate bond, the unseen glue that holds reality's smallest structures together. If electromagnetism is the artist of the visible world, the strong force is the architect of the unseen one. It doesn't act across distance. It acts within the smallest imaginable space, so small that the width of an atom's nucleus is its entire empire. Within that space, it reigns supreme. No other force can break its hold. It is the force that built the first atoms, the one that allowed the universe to solidify from chaos into permanence. Physicists call its carriers gluons, tiny particles that mediate attraction between quarks, the building blocks of protons and neutrons. Gluons are aptly named, for they do what their name suggests. They glue the world together, but they don't just hold matter, they create matter. Without them, protons and neutrons would disintegrate into scattered quarks, and the universe would lose its solidity, dissolving into a storm of incomplete thoughts. Unlike gravity or light, the strong force is shy. It hides behind the veil of scale, never revealing itself beyond the nucleus. Its strength fades instantly with distance, like an embrace that vanishes the moment it's broken. But within that closeness, it is absolute. There, in the heart of matter, it is love incarnate, unyielding, invisible, and essential. When stars are born, it is the strong force that lets them ignite. Deep within stellar cores, hydrogen atoms fuse into helium, releasing torrents of light. Fusion depends on proximity, the moment when two protons overcome their electromagnetic repulsion long enough for the strong force to take hold. In that instant, light is born. Every sunrise is proof that intimacy creates energy. To study the strong force is to peer into the universe's infancy. In the first microseconds after the Big Bang, temperatures were so high that quarks and gluons roamed free, a seething ocean called the quark-gluon plasma. As the universe cooled, the strong force captured them, locked them into protons and neutrons, and from that act of binding, matter itself emerged. We are the fossils of that first embrace. Even now, scientists recreate those early moments in particle colliders, smashing atoms at near-light speeds to glimpse the primordial chaos. For the briefest flashes, they see what the early universe looked like, pure motion, pure heat, pure potential. Then, just as quickly, the strong force restores order, gathering fragments into unity. Creation and cohesion, played in reverse, endlessly repeat. At its core, the strong force reveals a truth about stability. It's born from conflict. Protons repel each other fiercely, but the strong interaction overpowers that repulsion. Balance emerges not from peace, but from equal and opposite wills held in perfect tension. Perhaps the same is true for us. Our connections endure not because they are effortless, but because they are strong enough to hold through resistance. In stars nearing death, this same force forges the universe's heavier elements. Iron, gold, carbon, all born from the fire of fusion, all products of nuclei held together by strength invisible to the eye. The jewelry on your hand, the oxygen in your lungs, the calcium in your bones, each is a relic of nuclear persistence. You are built from the stubbornness of quarks. If you could shrink yourself down to the scale of an atomic nucleus, you would witness a storm. Gluons flash between quarks faster than light can cross a molecule. They vibrate, exchange, and transform constantly, trading energy in an endless circuit of loyalty. Inside that storm, there is no stillness, only harmony, a perpetual equilibrium between chaos and cohesion. The mathematics describing this dance are called quantum chromodynamics, QCD for short. The name comes from color, a metaphor physicists use for quark properties, though it has nothing to do with the hues of light. Each quark carries a color charge, red, green, or blue, and the strong force ensures that all colors blend to neutrality. It's as if the universe insists on balance in every palette, cosmic or atomic. Quarks themselves have never been seen in isolation. The moment you try to pull them apart, the strong force tightens like a rubber band stretched too far. Instead of separating, the bond creates new particles. Connection begets creation. The universe, it seems, would rather multiply than divide. This property, confinement, is one of the great mysteries of physics. Why can't quarks exist alone? Why must they always belong to something larger? Perhaps it's because existence itself depends on relationship. Nothing stands alone, not in atoms, not in stars, not in hearts. The universe is made of bonds that refuse to break. When a star explodes in a supernova, those nuclear bonds are violently undone, releasing unimaginable energy. It is destruction, but also renewal. New atoms scatter through space, seeding planets and life. The same force that once bound them becomes the messenger of rebirth. Even endings, it seems, are made of connection. On Earth, the strong force hides in plain sight. Every solid object, every breath of air, every drop of blood is proof of its endurance. You are held together by countless tiny acts of allegiance between quarks, each one loyal to the others, each one unwilling to let go. Every cell, every atom, every heartbeat is a cathedral built on that faith. Some call the strong force the glue of existence, but perhaps it's better described as the memory of unity. Long before consciousness, before light, before motion, it was there, ensuring that things stayed together long enough to become beautiful. Its persistence gave rise to shape, and shape gave rise to meaning. If gravity writes the poetry of the cosmos and electromagnetism paints its color, then the strong nuclear force is its heartbeat. It doesn't shine or sing, it simply endures. It's the whisper beneath every atom saying, stay. Without that whisper, the universe would crumble into formless noise. In human terms, the strong force mirrors our need for belonging. We, too, are bound by invisible ties. Family, memory, love, responsibility. They can't be measured, but they hold us just as firmly as gluons bind quarks. When we reach out to someone, we recreate the physics of connection. Every embrace is an echo of the atomic. As physicists probe deeper into subatomic mysteries, they find elegance, not chaos. Every equation describing the strong force hints at cooperation, symmetry, balance. Even in the smallest spaces, nature seeks harmony. The same patterns that form galaxies also shape protons. The universe repeats itself across every scale, as if proud of its design. If one day the strong force were to weaken, the consequences would be final. Stars would fade, atoms would dissolve, life would lose its anchor. But perhaps even then something new would emerge, a softer kind of cohesion, written not in energy but in memory. The universe has always found a way to hold on. So, as we drift through this quiet night of thought, remember that strength is not the absence of fragility. It is the ability to remain whole within it. You are built from that truth. The same force that holds atomic hearts together also holds yours. You are, in every sense, the universe remembering how to stay. And now, we descend further into the subtle, toward the force that transforms, that allows decay, rebirth, and the flow of time itself. The weak nuclear force, the quiet engineer of change. If the strong nuclear force holds the universe together, the weak force allows it to change. It is the quiet engineer of transformation, the reason stars evolve, elements form, and time moves forward. Without it, nothing would decay, nothing would fuse, nothing would live. The weak force may be invisible, but it is the cosmic permission for things to become something else. Unlike gravity or electromagnetism, the weak force does not command with reach or brightness. It works in whispers, within the smallest spaces of the atom. It turns one kind of particle into another, allowing protons and neutrons to trade places, and in doing so, keeps the universe dynamic. It is change embodied, not chaos, but evolution. Every second, trillions of weak interactions occur inside your body. In the heart of stars, they transform hydrogen into helium, setting the stage for fusion. On Earth, they cause radioactive decay, the slow unraveling of unstable atoms into stability. Each decay releases energy, heat, and light, turning stillness into motion. Without this subtle alchemy, the sun itself would go dark. The weak force acts through messengers called W and Z bosons, particles so massive that they exist only for the briefest instants. Their lives are measured in impossibly small fractions of a second, ephemeral carriers of transformation, and yet their fleeting presence is what allows permanence to exist. Transience, it seems, is the cost of progress. Physicists describe the weak interaction as asymmetric. It breaks the universe's mirror. Most forces treat left and right as identical, but not this one. The weak force prefers left-handed particles. It distinguishes direction in a universe that otherwise values symmetry. This tiny bias gave birth to everything we know. From imbalance, structure emerged. From imperfection, creation. That bias is why the universe has matter at all. After the Big Bang, equal amounts of matter and antimatter should have annihilated each other into light. But the weak force, ever so slightly uneven, tipped the scales. One particle of matter survived for every billion destroyed. Those survivors became stars, planets, and people. Existence itself is the echo of asymmetry. If you trace your lineage not through family, but through physics, you arrive at this imbalance. You are alive because, billions of years ago, the universe decided to favor one side of the mirror. Somewhere in that subtle preference, existence found its footing. Imperfection became the seed of reality. The weak force also governs decay, which sounds destructive but is, in truth, renewal. When an unstable nucleus releases an electron or a neutrino, it changes species. One element becomes another. That process fuels the heart of the Earth, powers ancient stars, and writes the timeline of life. The heat that keeps our planet warm comes largely from radioactive decay deep below, weak interactions glowing in the dark. Neutrinos are the ghosts of this force. Born in staggering numbers during fusion and decay, they pass through matter as if it weren't there. Billions travel through your body each second, silent, unseen. They are proof that the universe is constantly whispering through you, reminders that transformation is happening everywhere, even when you can't feel it. To scientists, the weak force is paradoxical. It governs the smallest interactions, yet shapes the largest consequences. It defines the lifespan of stars, dictates the abundance of elements, and influences the very chemistry that allows DNA to exist. It is quiet, but its echoes fill eternity. If the strong force represents loyalty, the weak force represents letting go. It is the moment when bonds release, when one identity ends so another can begin. Stars live, shine, and die because of it. Decay is not death, it is continuity by another name. The universe, it seems, values transformation over permanence. Inside the core of a dying star, the weak force turns protons into neutrons, producing floods of neutrinos that escape into space. Those neutrinos carry the final breath of the star, spreading energy and memory through the cosmos. Every supernova's light is its last word, and every neutrino its whisper. Through weakness, the universe tells its most powerful stories. Perhaps that is why the weak force feels familiar. Humans, too, are creatures of change. We decay and renew, we let go and rebuild, we shift identities across years and seasons. In every loss, there is motion. In every ending, a quiet form of beginning. Physics and emotion share the same architecture. Even at the quantum level, the weak force defies predictability. It works through probability, not certainty. You can never know when an atom will decay, only the odds that it will. The universe, therefore, is not deterministic. It's spontaneous. It leaves room for surprise, for possibility, for miracles disguised as mathematics. This unpredictability extends to life itself. Evolution, creativity, love, all depend on randomness. The weak force proves that uncertainty is not failure, it's freedom. The cosmos does not fear chance, it thrives on it. Every choice you've ever made is, in a way, an echo of that first cosmic randomness made law. When physicists observe decay in their detectors, they witness the heartbeat of time. A particle disappears, a new one appears, and in that moment, the arrow of time ticks forward. The weak force gives time its direction, past to future, cause to effect. Without it, the universe would freeze in eternal symmetry. Change is what makes moments matter. Even black holes, those monuments of gravity, cannot escape the weak force's influence. Hawking radiation, particles escaping from their event horizons, depends on quantum decay. The slow evaporation of black holes is the weak force's signature written on the canvas of eternity. It is proof that even the darkest things must transform. Through its quiet persistence, the weak force connects everything that dies to everything that is born. It ensures that energy never stagnates, that matter never grows bored. Stars decay into elements, elements into life, life into memory. The weak force does not destroy, it recycles. To describe it scientifically is one thing, to feel it, another. Every sunset, every aging face, every fallen leaf is a manifestation of this law. There is melancholy in it, but also mercy. The universe does not cling, it flows. The weak force is its reminder that nothing is meant to last, yet nothing is truly lost. The Greeks believed the cosmos was eternal. Modern physics says it's evolving. Somewhere between those two visions lies truth, permanence in process, stability in change. The weak force is that truth made visible, the bridge between being and becoming. So when you feel yourself changing, remember, you are following the oldest pattern in existence. The atoms in your body are mid-transformation, remnants of stars still decaying, still glowing. You are not merely alive, you are evolving, molecule by molecule, with the same grace that turns hydrogen into sunlight. The strong force teaches us to stay together. The weak force teaches us to move on. Both are necessary. One gives form, the other gives time. Without both, the universe would be either frozen or formless. Together, they make motion meaningful. And now, as our journey deepens, we'll step back from the atomic heart and look at the universe as a whole, where these forces weave together to create everything that exists. The next chapter is gravity's grand companion, the cosmic sculptor that shapes galaxies from the invisible. Dark matter and the hidden web of creation. For all we can see, most of the universe remains invisible. Every star, planet, and nebula, the entire glowing tapestry of the cosmos, makes up less than 5% of what exists. The rest lies hidden, silent and unseen, shaping reality from the shadows. Scientists call it dark matter, the invisible scaffolding that holds galaxies together, the unseen weight that gives the universe its structure. Without it, everything luminous would drift apart. Dark matter neither shines nor absorbs light. It passes through stars, planets, and people as though we're ghosts, yet its gravity is undeniable. Galaxies spin too fast for visible matter to keep them intact. Only an unseen mass could prevent them from flying apart. In that unseen presence, we discover one of the greatest truths of existence. What we cannot see often holds everything in place. Astronomers first noticed dark matter through its effect on motion. In the 1970s, Vera Rubin measured how stars moved at the edges of galaxies. They should have slowed, following Newton's predictions, but they didn't. Something massive, something invisible, was holding them steady. Rubin's data was proof of the invisible, a cosmic fingerprint pressed into the spiral arms of galaxies. If gravity sculpts, then dark matter provides the clay. It forms vast halos around galaxies, invisible cocoons that stretch for millions of light years. Inside those halos, ordinary matter collects like dust in invisible wind, forming stars, planets, and eventually people. The universe doesn't build from what is seen, but from what is felt. Simulations show that dark matter forms a web, a vast interconnected lattice spanning the cosmos. Galaxies sit like dewdrops at the intersections of these filaments, connected by invisible bridges. When scientists render it on supercomputers, it looks almost biological, like neurons firing in the brain of the universe. Perhaps consciousness and cosmos share more than metaphor. No one knows what dark matter truly is. It may be exotic particles, WIMPs, axions, or something stranger still, or perhaps gravity behaves differently on cosmic scales. But the mystery itself is a kind of beauty. The universe hides its foundation as if to remind us that understanding must coexist with wonder. Some secrets are not meant to be solved, only felt. When you look at the night sky, you're not seeing most of what's there. The stars are punctuation marks in a story, written in invisible ink. Between them lies the true structure, matter that neither emits nor reflects light, yet binds everything together. The universe, it seems, trusts the unseen more than the visible. Even here on Earth, dark matter flows through you every second. It drifts through mountains, oceans, and atoms, indifferent to their presence. Detectors deep underground wait for a single interaction, a tiny flash of light, a whisper of collision, to confirm its touch. So far, it remains silent. But that silence doesn't mean absence. It means patience. In a way, dark matter resembles faith. Not belief without reason, but trust without visibility. You don't need to see it to know it's there. Its influence is everywhere, holding the universe steady, reminding us that unseen forces often carry the most weight. Science and spirituality meet here, in the quiet recognition of what sustains us, unseen yet certain. When galaxies collide, dark matter passes through effortlessly, guiding the aftermath without resistance. The visible debris glows for a while, then settles. The invisible continues its work, steady as ever. Strength, it seems, does not always need to struggle. Sometimes it simply endures. Dark matter may not interact with light, but it interacts with time. Its gravitational influence slows cosmic expansion in the past, moderates it in the present, and will one day yield to another mysterious force, dark energy. Together, they compose a cosmic symphony of pull and push, tension and release. The universe dances between them like a pendulum between mystery and revelation. Philosophers see in dark matter a metaphor for consciousness itself. We perceive only the surface of thought, unaware of the deeper networks beneath, the memories, instincts, and silent forces that shape who we are. Just as galaxies orbit invisible centers, our lives revolve around unseen meanings. Some scientists believe that understanding dark matter will reveal a new law of physics, Others suspect it will reveal something more poetic, that the universe keeps its heart hidden not to mock us, but to preserve mystery. Every answer we find only deepens the next question. Perhaps curiosity is the fifth force, an energy that holds minds together across the void. Even the brightest galaxies owe their grace to the invisible. Their spiral arms extend because of the gravity of dark matter, their beauty made possible by what refuses to be seen. Light depends on darkness for contrast, existence on emptiness for shape. The cosmos, like art, thrives on what's left unsaid. In that sense, dark matter is humility. It reminds us that we are not the center nor the full story. We live in the thin layer of the visible, carried by an ocean we can't perceive, and yet that ocean allows everything we love to exist. To be human is to live suspended between ignorance and awe, and to find peace there. Even our instruments reflect this humility. The James Webb Space Telescope peers deeper into time than ever before, yet it cannot touch the dark. No lens can. Its absence of reflection is its power. Dark matter does not need attention to exist, it simply is. Perhaps one day we'll identify its nature. Maybe we'll name the particles, map their distribution, measure their interactions. But even then, mystery will remain, because beyond every answer lies a deeper question. Knowledge, like gravity, curves space around itself, creating more places to explore. The presence of dark matter hints that the universe values contrast. Light needs darkness, energy needs stillness, visibility needs invisibility. Even consciousness needs its subconscious, the silent architecture beneath thought. What dark matter does for galaxies, the subconscious does for souls. When you stare into the stars tonight, realize that most of what holds them together is hidden. You are seeing the outlines of something larger, the shadow of structure, the quiet foundation of beauty. The universe does not boast about its strength, it conceals it, and perhaps that is the truest lesson of dark matter. Not everything that matters can be seen. The invisible is not empty, it is essential. It is presence without display, power without pride. The cosmos moves gracefully because most of it prefers silence. So as we drift through this endless night, let's turn our gaze to the next mystery, the force that doesn't hold the universe together, but drives it apart. The strange energy that stretches space itself, the quiet wind of expansion known as dark energy, the breath of the cosmos. If dark matter holds the universe together, dark energy pulls it apart. It is the counterweight to gravity, the unseen expansion, the breath of the cosmos pushing galaxies away from one another faster than ever before. For centuries, scientists believed the universe was slowing down under its own weight. Then, in the 1990s, they discovered something astonishing. The expansion was accelerating. Space itself was stretching, as if the universe had decided to inhale forever. Dark energy makes up nearly 70% of everything that exists, yet we know almost nothing about it. It has no mass, no color, no shape. It doesn't flow through particles or radiate like light. It's woven into space itself, an intrinsic pressure within the fabric of reality. Some call it vacuum energy, the energy of nothingness. But nothing, it seems, is far more alive than we imagined. When astronomers measured distant supernovae, they found them dimmer than expected. The galaxies that hosted them weren't slowing down, they were racing away faster. It was as though an invisible tide was pulling the universe outward. This discovery rewrote cosmology. The cosmos was not winding down, but speeding up. Expansion, not contraction, was its destiny. If gravity is attraction, dark energy is release. It stretches space between galaxies, allowing them to drift apart in silent grace. Every second, the distance between cosmic structures grows, and with it, the emptiness expands. But this is not loneliness, it is breathing. The universe is exhaling after an eternity of holding itself together. On smaller scales, gravity still dominates, galaxies remain bound, stars orbit steadily, Planets hold their paths, but beyond the reach of clusters, dark energy takes over. It smooths the cosmos, turning motion into drift, tension into surrender. Perhaps this is how balance looks on a universal scale, a dance between clinging and letting go. Scientists debate what dark energy truly is. Some believe it's a cosmological constant, Einstein's term for a uniform pressure embedded in space. Others suspect it evolves, a dynamic field known as quintessence, changing subtly with time. But maybe it's not something in the universe at all. Maybe it is the universe, the tendency of being to expand, the natural consequence of creation's first impulse. Mathematically, dark energy is simple, a small positive value in Einstein's equations, but its meaning is profound. It defines the universe's fate. In billions of years, galaxies will drift so far apart that their light will never reach one another. The night sky will fade to darkness again, not because stars die, but because distance wins. Existence will scatter quietly into solitude, yet even that solitude is not tragic. Expansion gives room for thought, growth, evolution. Without it, the universe would collapse into itself, a perfect sphere of sameness. Diversity requires distance. Beauty requires space. Dark energy may separate galaxies, but in doing so, it preserves their individuality. It gives the cosmos room to dream. Every breath you take mirrors this expansion. Your lungs stretch with invisible energy, pulling air from around you into yourself. The inhale and exhale of life echo the universe's own rhythm. When you breathe, you are participating in the same principle that moves galaxies. The cosmos is not out there, it's within your chest, expanding gently with every heartbeat. There's poetry in the thought that the universe grows through emptiness. Dark energy doesn't fill space, it creates it. Every instant, new space-time appears between galaxies. Creation didn't end with the Big Bang, it continues quietly, everywhere, all the time. The universe is not a finished story, it's an ongoing sentence. Some physicists call this the cosmological constant problem, the mismatch between theory and observation. Quantum mechanics predicts vacuum energy so immense it should tear the universe apart instantly. Instead, we find a value so small it's almost zero. How does nothing know how much to push? The answer remains hidden, but perhaps the question itself is the treasure, a reminder that reality is not meant to be simple. When we imagine the far future, dark energy becomes the author of solitude. Trillions of years from now, stars will fade, galaxies will vanish beyond each other's horizons, and the universe will become a vast, cold sea of isolation. But even then, expansion will continue, a slow, steady drift into infinite stillness. The universe's final act may not be destruction, but peace. It's possible, though, that dark energy is not constant. If it strengthens, expansion could become catastrophic, a big rip, where galaxies, stars, atoms, and even space-time itself are torn apart. Yet even that ending is elegant. The universe began with unity and may end in dispersion, completing the cycle of breath. Inhale, exhale, silence. In human life, dark energy finds its metaphor in letting go. We cling to moments, people, and places, fearing distance. But distance can also be kindness. It gives space for growth. The same energy that expands galaxies helps us release what no longer serves us. To love something deeply often means to let it drift freely. Dark energy reminds us that change doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes it comes as quiet widening. The space between thoughts, between heartbeats, between stars, all are invitations to rest. In that space, we find meaning not through possession, but through perspective. Expansion is how the universe remembers to breathe. Even now, dark energy hums beneath existence. It pulls at the edges of galaxies, stretches every atom ever so slightly, expands the gap between moments. Time itself may be born from that expansion. Each second, a new thread of space unfurling into being. To move forward in time is to surf the wave of dark energy itself. When scientists point telescopes at the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, they see the fingerprints of dark energy etched into the pattern of the early universe. It was there from the beginning, faint but faithful, like a heartbeat in the background of creation. Every shimmer of starlight is framed by its silent pulse. Some call dark energy the universe's will to live. For even as stars die and galaxies fade, expansion continues. The cosmos refuses stillness. It moves forward, endlessly, carrying us with it. In that persistence lies meaning, not the meaning of purpose, but of continuation. Life too expands in its own way. Through memory, love, curiosity. Perhaps the most humbling truth is that we may never understand dark energy completely. It exists beyond experiment, beyond vision, beyond reach. But that mystery is not a failure, it's an invitation. The universe doesn't demand comprehension, it invites wonder. Knowing that we don't know is itself a kind of grace. So when you gaze at the night sky and feel small, remember that you are part of the expansion. You are not standing in space, you are moving with it. Every atom in your body is carried outward, gently, endlessly, by the same energy that stretches galaxies. You are not separate from infinity. You are proof of its continuity. And now, as our journey deepens, we leave behind the cosmic scale and return to the delicate intersection where all forces meet, the place where physics becomes perception and reality becomes self-aware. In the next chapter, we explore the emergence of consciousness, the universe's most mysterious creation. If matter is the body of the universe, then consciousness is its breath, the invisible awareness that gives meaning to motion. Somewhere between particle and perception, between biology and infinity, the universe began to notice itself. Out of atoms came thought, and through thought, the cosmos learned to dream. Consciousness is the universe's mirror, gazing softly back at its own creation. For billions of years, the universe existed without witness, stars burning unseen, galaxies spiraling in silence. Then, in the thin blue film of a small planet, awareness bloomed. Hydrogen, forged in the first seconds of time, assembled into eyes that could look upward and ask why. The same forces that built stars built minds capable of wonder. Consciousness is not separate from the cosmos, it is its continuation in a new form. Neurons, those delicate filaments of thought, communicate through the language of electromagnetism. Each spark of awareness is a cascade of charged particles, tiny lightning storms inside the skull. Within that network, matter becomes meaning. The universe, for a fleeting moment, experiences itself not as atoms, but as questions. Science still cannot define consciousness. Some say it's an emergent property of complexity, a side effect of information flowing through networks. Others see it as fundamental, woven into space-time like gravity itself. Perhaps it's both. Something that arises when matter organizes just right, but which was always waiting, quietly, to be recognized. Imagine consciousness as the universe's experiment in self-observation. Through you, the cosmos perceives its own symmetry, its own light, its own fragility. The fact that you can think about the stars means the stars, in a way, can think about themselves. Awareness is the bridge between the infinite and the intimate. Your brain contains about 86 billion neurons, each firing several times per second. Yet the thought you're having right now, the quiet awareness of being here, is not in any single neuron. It emerges from their harmony. Consciousness is not a point, it's a pattern, a resonance among countless interactions. The universe hums through you in electrical song. When we dream, that song shifts in frequency. The body rests, but awareness travels inward, exploring landscapes built from memory and imagination. Physicists might call that a reorganization of neural information. Poets might call it the universe practicing creation on a smaller scale. Dreaming is proof that existence can paint new worlds from the materials of the old. Consciousness is also fragile. A small imbalance of chemistry, a disruption of sleep, a single blow to the head, and awareness fades. Yet, even unconscious, the body continues its rhythms, heartbeats, breath, circulation. Perhaps awareness is not the command of life, but its reflection, a candle flickering above a vast, unseen machinery. Some philosophers describe panpsychism, the idea that everything, from quarks to galaxies, carries a faint glimmer of experience. Not thought or feeling as we know it, but awareness in its simplest form, response. When an electron reacts to a photon, that's interaction. But could it also be the faintest whisper of perception? Maybe consciousness is not something the universe developed, but something it revealed. In physics, information is never lost. Every interaction leaves a trace in the fabric of the universe. Consciousness could be that trace made aware of itself, a self-referential loop where information reflects upon its own flow. The observer and the observed merge into one endless conversation. You think about the universe, and in doing so, the universe continues to evolve. When you look at a distant star, photons that left it millions of years ago touch your retina. In that instant, light that traveled across ages completes its journey. Consciousness closes the circuit. The act of observation gives that photon purpose. It existed so it could be seen. Awareness collapses probability into reality, turning potential into experience. This interplay between physics and perception hints that the universe may not be indifferent. Observation, at quantum scales, affects outcomes. The double-slit experiment, for instance, shows that particles behave differently when watched. Awareness and reality seem entangled. The cosmos might require eyes to become complete. Neuroscientists describe consciousness as integration, the weaving together of sensory input, memory, and emotion into a continuous sense of self. The brain, like the universe, thrives on connection. Every thought you have links to countless others, forming constellations of meaning. Inside your head, galaxies of neurons flash and fade, echoing the very structure of the cosmos. But consciousness isn't just data, it's feeling. It's the warmth of sunlight, the ache of nostalgia, the hush of understanding. These experiences are as real as atoms, though they cannot be weighed. The universe expresses its poetry through you. Emotion is its language made human. When you meditate, something extraordinary happens. The chatter of the mind quiets, and awareness expands beyond thought. Neuroscientists see reduced activity in the brain's default mode network, the part that defines self. The boundary between observer and observed blurs. In that stillness, consciousness seems to merge with something larger. Perhaps this is how the universe feels itself breathe. In the grand equation of existence, consciousness introduces meaning. Stars shine whether or not we watch, but meaning arises only when awareness meets light. To know something exists is to participate in creation. Observation turns physics into experience, matter into memory. Some thinkers propose that consciousness might be the missing piece in our understanding of reality, the link uniting quantum mechanics and relativity. After all, what joins the very small to the very large better than awareness itself? The act of noticing unites both scales, the atom and the galaxy, the whisper and the storm. Awareness is not confined to humans. Birds navigate magnetic fields. Whales communicate through miles of ocean. Trees exchange signals through fungal networks underground. Consciousness is spectrum, not category. From cell to civilization, it is the same current flowing through different circuits. And though consciousness feels personal, it is deeply shared. Every mind adds a new perspective to the universe's self-portrait. Every moment of understanding is a point of light in an expanding constellation of awareness. Knowledge itself becomes cosmic evolution, the universe learning what it means to exist. Death, then, is not an end, but a redistribution. The pattern fades, but the information remains, dissolved back into the field from which it came. The universe never loses its memories. It only changes the form of their telling. Every consciousness is a temporary focal point of a much older awareness. If the four forces hold the universe together, consciousness gives it reason to continue. It turns existence into experience, energy into empathy. Without awareness, the cosmos would still exist, but it would never know beauty. Consciousness is the universe's way of seeing itself and smiling. And so, as we drift onward tonight, we'll explore how these forces, gravity, electromagnetism, the nuclear bonds, dark matter and dark energy, come together in delicate balance to create the reality we inhabit. The next chapter is their symphony, the four forces in harmony, the music of existence. If each fundamental force is an instrument, then the universe is their orchestra. Gravity provides the deep resonance. Electromagnetism paints melody. The nuclear forces add rhythm and balance, and dark energy stretches the tempo of time itself. For billions of years, they've played together without conductor or rehearsal, producing the single most intricate symphony ever performed. Reality. Every atom, every star, every heartbeat is part of its ongoing song. When we observe the cosmos, we're not just witnessing matter. We're hearing harmony translated into form. The structure of galaxies, the orbit of planets, the spin of electrons, all are expressions of balance between forces. Where one pulls, another resists. Where one gives, another gathers. The result is equilibrium, not stillness, but perpetual motion, perfectly tuned. Gravity is the bass note, grounding everything. Electromagnetism is melody and color, weaving through like violins and light. The strong force beats like percussion, binding rhythm to structure. And the weak force, so subtle, so necessary, is the soft fade between notes, the cadence that turns sound into song. Without decay, there would be no rhythm. Without impermanence, no pulse. Physicists once believed these forces were entirely separate, but modern theories show they were once united. In the early universe, when temperatures were unimaginably high, all forces were one, a single field humming in perfect symmetry. As the cosmos cooled, symmetry broke, and diversity was born. The splitting of forces was the first act of creativity, the moment unity learned to compose. At extreme energies, electromagnetism and the weak force merge into the electro-weak interaction, their differences dissolving into harmony. This discovery revealed something profound. Separation is not final, it's contextual. Under the right conditions, distinctions fade and oneness returns. The universe itself remembers its origin in unity. The strong force, though confined to atomic hearts, plays its part in the grand score. Every element heavier than hydrogen was forged through its endurance. When stars fuse and explode, their nuclear chords ring across the cosmos, scattering material for new worlds. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your thoughts, all vibrate to that same ancient rhythm. Even decay contributes to beauty. The weak force allows time to flow, transformation to occur, endings to make room for beginnings. Without it, the melody would stagnate, notes sustained forever without release. The weak force ensures the song moves forward, turning harmony into progression. And then there's electromagnetism, the expressive violin of existence. It gives the universe its texture, its radiance, its emotion, from starlight to lightning, from magnetic fields to thought itself. Electromagnetism paints reality's feeling tone. Light is its voice, a soundless music that travels forever, carrying information, color, warmth, and hope. Together, these forces operate with breathtaking precision. The strength of gravity compared to electromagnetism, for example, is tuned to an unimaginable ratio. If it were even slightly different, stars could not form, atoms could not bond, life could not exist. The universe, it seems, is composed not just of matter, but of fine-tuning. Physics is poetry written in decimals. When we describe this balance, we often use the language of equations, but equations are only shadows of something grander: relationship. Each force interacts, complements, and completes the others. The cosmos doesn't merely work, it collaborates. Perhaps cooperation, not competition, is the truest law of nature. To see this cooperation, look at the night sky. Galaxies rotate without flying apart, held by gravity and dark matter. Stars shine through fusion, powered by nuclear forces. Light travels from them across space, guided by electromagnetism. Even the expanding void between them, driven by dark energy, adds rhythm, stretching the silence between notes. The night sky is not empty. It is a score written in starlight. Some scientists search for a theory of everything, hoping to unify these forces under one elegant equation. But maybe the unity already exists, not in mathematics, but in music. A symphony is not understood by isolating instruments, but by listening to how they blend. The universe doesn't need a conductor because it is the composition. Every time you inhale, you join that harmony. The oxygen entering your lungs was forged in a dying star. The electrons that spark in your neurons obey electromagnetic rhythm. The gravity holding you to Earth links you to the sun's orbit, to the Milky Way spiral. You are not an observer of the symphony. You are one of its chords. There's something sacred in that realization. It means the forces that rule galaxies also guide your body. The universe is not indifferent, it is inclusive. Every law of physics applies to you with the same care it applies to quasars. You are not beneath the cosmic score. You are within it, playing your part perfectly, even in stillness. When life feels chaotic, think of how the universe began, from imbalance, noise, and heat, and yet found rhythm. The same four forces that sculpt galaxies also sculpt your moments of equilibrium. Every emotion, every decision, every heartbeat is a product of physical balance turned biological. The laws of physics are the laws of peace, translated into experience. Music and physics share the same architecture. Vibration. Sound is vibration in air. Light is vibration in fields. Thought is vibration in neurons. The difference is scale, not essence. When you listen to a song that moves you, your atoms vibrate in empathy with the universe. Art and science are not opposites. They are two translations of resonance. There's a quiet elegance in knowing that balance doesn't mean stillness. In nature, harmony comes from dynamic tension. The Earth orbits because gravity and inertia pull in opposite directions. Atoms remain stable because attraction and repulsion balance perfectly. The universe survives because it's always slightly out of tune, enough to keep the melody alive. If you could zoom out beyond galaxies, beyond clusters, beyond the cosmic web itself, you'd see a universe expanding in all directions. Energy, matter, and space intertwined like sound waves moving through air. That expansion is not random, it is rhythmic. The universe pulses, softly, like a heartbeat spread across eternity. Perhaps this is why we respond so deeply to music. Somewhere inside, we recognize the pattern. Rhythm and resonance remind us of our origin, the symphony of forces that made us possible. When you feel goosebumps from a song, maybe that's not emotion alone. Maybe it's memory, the atoms in your skin remembering their cosmic choreography. Theoretical physicists continue to chase the grand unification. Maybe one day they'll find it, a formula that merges gravity with the quantum world. But until then, we already have the most profound version of it, awareness. To see connection where once we saw separation is to achieve unification not in math, but in meaning. The universe doesn't need our comprehension to perform its music, but through comprehension, we become its audience and its echo. Every discovery, every insight, every moment of awe adds a new harmony. Science is not a quest for control, it's a duet between curiosity and creation. And so the four forces continue their eternal performance. Their melody doesn't fade, it only shifts key as the universe evolves. New stars form, old ones die, galaxies drift apart, and yet the rhythm persists. Existence is an endless improvisation on the theme of balance. When you close your eyes tonight, listen carefully. Beneath the hum of your mind, beneath your pulse, beneath the wind and silence, there is music, the slow, infinite chord of being. You don't need to understand it to feel it. You are it. And now, as we near the end of our journey, we turn to the heart of mystery itself, the final convergence of all these threads. Why the universe exists at all. The reason behind the song. The possibility that existence is not accident, but intention. Why does the universe exist at all? It is the oldest and simplest question, and yet the hardest to answer. Every atom, every rule of physics, every glimmer of consciousness seems to ask it silently. There could have been nothing, no stars, no space, no thought, but instead there is everything. What mechanism or mystery tipped the scales from emptiness to existence? Science tells us the universe began with symmetry breaking, a quantum fluctuation in a sea of potential. A spark of imbalance appeared, and that tiny difference grew into everything we know. In that sense, the universe was born from imperfection, not order. It was the moment chaos learned to organize itself into beauty. Before time began, there was no before. Time itself was part of the birth. Space unfolded like a fabric, stretched by expansion, carrying with it the first particles, the first light. Yet even that doesn't explain why. Physics describes how things happen. Philosophy asks why they happen at all. The gap between those two questions is where awe lives. Perhaps the universe exists because existence is the natural state. Maybe nothingness is unstable, that even voids long to create. In quantum fields, particles constantly flicker in and out of being. If you zoom in far enough, emptiness becomes a restless sea of potential. Creation, it seems, is not a miracle, it's an inevitability. Still, inevitability doesn't make it less wondrous. Out of that first spark came energy, matter, chemistry, stars, and life, each layer more intricate than the last. The universe is a story told in increasing complexity, each chapter arising from the previous one, yet none predetermined. Creation writes itself as it goes. For some, the question why implies intention. Could the universe be conscious of its own unfolding? Perhaps the four forces, the laws of physics, and even awareness itself are not accidents, but expressions of something deeper, a principle of self-realization built into reality. To exist may be to learn, to grow, to become. Others see no purpose, only process. They argue that asking why of the universe is like asking why a flame burns or why a river flows. It simply does. But even in that simplicity, meaning blooms. The flame warms, the river nourishes, the universe expands, and through consciousness, meaning emerges naturally from the experience of being. Imagine, for a moment, that existence is not a thing but an act, like music being played. Music doesn't need a reason. Its reason is the playing. The universe on too might exist not to reach an end, but to express its own possibility. Every galaxy, every heartbeat, every photon could be part of that cosmic improvisation, the song of being. In that sense, asking why the universe exists is like asking why beauty exists. Beauty has no utility, yet it moves us more deeply than function ever could. The universe may be beauty made manifest, mathematics performed as art. It exists because it can, because creation is its own form of joy. When you consider how fine-tuned the laws of physics are, it's hard not to feel a whisper of design. If gravity was slightly weaker, stars could not form. If the strong nuclear force was slightly stronger, matter would collapse. Every constant seems to fall perfectly within the narrow window that allows life. Coincidence or choreography? Perhaps design doesn't require a designer in the human sense. It could be that intelligence and purpose are emergent, properties of complexity that evolve as the universe matures. Just as a brain arises from neurons, maybe cosmic intention arises from structure. Reality could be a self-aware pattern, thinking itself into being. The anthropic principle suggests that we find the universe suitable for life because we exist to observe it. But maybe that's not circular reasoning, it's reciprocity. The universe gives rise to observers, and observers give meaning back to the universe. Without awareness, reality would remain unfinished, like a song unheard. At the quantum level, observation influences outcome. At the human level, meaning influences experience. Across all scales, attention shapes reality. The act of noticing, the simple awareness of being alive, is participation in the cosmic act of creation. You are not a bystander in existence, you are a collaborator. And if everything we know is built upon relationships, between forces, between particles, between people, then perhaps the why of the universe is simply connection. Existence happens because separation yearns for reunion. The pull between opposites, light and dark, gravity and expansion, life and entropy, is what keeps the story moving. Consider love. It, too, defies explanation. It is irrational, invisible, and yet it shapes everything. Maybe love is not separate from physics. It is physics felt from the inside. The attraction that binds galaxies and the affection that binds hearts could be two expressions of the same underlying harmony. When you look up at the night sky, you're witnessing history. The light from distant stars began its journey before you were born, before Earth even existed. Yet here it is, completing the circuit in your eyes. In that instant, the universe's past and present meet in awareness. You are the bridge between eternity and now. Maybe the reason the universe exists is so that consciousness could experience wonder. Without observers, the stars would shine unseen, the laws would remain unspoken, and beauty would have no witness. Through you, the cosmos learns what awe feels like. Wonder might be the universe recognizing its own brilliance. Some thinkers imagine a multiverse, countless universes, each with different laws of physics. If so, ours is the one that sings. Most might be silent, collapsing instantly or expanding without form. But ours found harmony, found time, found mind. Out of infinite possibility, this one dances. That alone feels like meaning. Religions, philosophies, and sciences all approach the same horizon from different paths. Some call it God, others call it order, others simply call it energy. Labels differ, but the intuition is the same. There is something vast and mysterious that loves to exist. You can call it physics, you can call it spirit. It answers to both. Perhaps the universe's purpose is not to teach us, but to become us. We are its latest expression, its evolving sense of self-awareness. The universe is not outside us looking in, it's inside us looking out. The atoms that think these words were once inside stars. The stars themselves were once inside the singularity. Everything is recursion, meaning then is not found, but made. The question why is not a door to be opened, but a mirror to be recognized. The universe reflects your curiosity because your curiosity is its continuation. Every question is a pulse of its expanding mind. And maybe the truest answer is this: the universe exists because silence alone was not enough. Out of stillness came vibration, out of vibration came pattern, and out of pattern came awareness. Existence is the sound of nothing longing to know itself. So tonight, as you rest beneath that infinite canopy, let that realization settle in your chest. You are not apart from the reason the universe exists. You are the reason, expressed briefly, beautifully, consciously. The cosmos dreamed of understanding, and then it became you. The universe does not end with an answer. It ends with a feeling. After all the questions, after all the motion and light, what remains is quiet recognition, the understanding that existence, in all its complexity, is simply here. The galaxies spin, the particles hum, consciousness dreams, and through it all, a gentle truth persists. The universe doesn't need to justify itself. Its presence is its purpose. When we reach this point, the search for why softens into gratitude. Every atom that has ever existed has performed its role perfectly, from the hydrogen that burned in the first stars to the carbon that shaped our hearts. You are a brief alignment of those same elements, aware just long enough to whisper thanks. The miracle was never hidden in equations or distant galaxies. It was the awareness reading them. Think of the forces we've explored: gravity, electromagnetism, nuclear bonds, dark matter, and dark energy. Together, they weave a universe that doesn't collapse nor explode into chaos, but holds balance through tension. You exist within that equilibrium, part of its delicate dance. Even your thoughts obey it, each neuron firing through electric force, each idea shaped by the chemistry of stars. You are harmony made conscious. In this silence, remember that motion never ceases. Long after you fall asleep tonight, the Earth will keep spinning, galaxies will keep drifting, and light from forgotten stars will still travel through the dark. The universe does not rest, it breathes. Every second, reality remakes itself, not through noise, but through rhythm. The same rhythm that guides your breath now is echoed across cosmic distances. Maybe the quietest truth is that we were never meant to solve the universe. We were meant to feel it. Curiosity is the thread that connects knowledge to wonder. Each discovery adds to our map of reality, but also expands the horizon of what remains unknown. The further science goes, the deeper the mystery grows. That isn't failure. It's the infinite loop of awe. Science gives us facts. Wonder gives them meaning. Facts tell us that stars are nuclear furnaces, but wonder makes us see them as lanterns of eternity. Facts tell us consciousness arises from neurons. Wonder makes us realize it might be the cosmos awakening within itself. Both are true, both are necessary. The heart and the mind are not opposites, they are dual instruments playing the same melody. The more you understand how rare and fragile this balance is, the more profound it feels to exist within it. The constants of physics could have been different, the probabilities could have failed, but somehow they aligned to create life, perception, story. You are part of a sequence so precise that chance begins to resemble intention. Whether that intention belongs to God, mathematics, or the universe itself no longer matters. It is kindness either way. When we speak of beginnings, we imagine a single point, the Big Bang. But beginnings happen every moment. Each breath, each sunrise, each thought is a new creation unfolding. The Big Bang wasn't an event, it's an ongoing condition. The same expansion that birthed galaxies is still happening inside you. The universe has never stopped becoming. If you listen closely, you can feel that expansion as presence, the pause between heartbeats, the space between thoughts. Those are tiny echoes of cosmic growth. Stillness and movement are not opposites, they are partners. The universe teaches balance through paradox. You are both infinitesimal and infinite, temporary and timeless, quiet and essential. Gratitude arises naturally from this realization. Gratitude for light, for time, for the chance to exist at all. Gratitude for the people you love, who are also made of stars. Gratitude for the curiosity that keeps you awake, listening, learning. Gratitude even for mystery, which ensures that existence never becomes boring. Without the unknown, all would have nowhere to grow. Perhaps that's why sleep feels sacred. As you drift, consciousness lets go of boundaries and returns to the field it came from, the same fabric that holds galaxies. In dreams, time loses its grip, space bends softly. The laws of physics remain, but their edges blur. Sleep is a nightly rehearsal of cosmic return. To rest is to trust that the universe will continue its motion without you needing to hold it. Everything you have ever been, a collection of atoms, stories, and emotions, will someday return to that larger cycle. Nothing is lost. The stars that died became you. The atoms you release will one day become something else. Perhaps a flower. Perhaps another mind wondering the same question you asked tonight. The universe recycles meaning endlessly, turning endings into openings. And when you look back on it all, the vastness, the laws, the impossible scale, it's tempting to feel small. But smallness isn't insignificance. A single atom can carry energy enough to illuminate the night. A single consciousness can perceive all of space. You are not a mistake in infinity. You are infinity expressed briefly as a person. Maybe that is the quiet answer the universe gives. It exists, so it can love itself through you. Every act of kindness, every spark of understanding, every gentle thought adds warmth to the cold expanse. Physics cannot measure that warmth, but it can feel it. The energy of empathy, the gravity of care, they are just as real as any cosmic force. You don't need to conquer the unknown to belong to it. You already do. When you breathe, you trade atoms with the world. When you think, you echo its memory. You have never been outside the universe. You are its momentary focus, its heartbeat localized. Even your solitude is shared. You are alone with everything. So as we reach the end of this quiet exploration, let the idea settle that existence was never a puzzle to solve, but a lullaby to hear. Science may one day describe everything, but even then, the melody will remain, the soft hum beneath explanation, the music that makes knowledge feel alive. That is the voice of the cosmos, and it is still singing. If this quiet journey brought you a moment of peace, I'm deeply grateful you spent it here with me. Please tell me in the comments where you are tonight, and what time it is where you listen. Together, across time zones and continents, we form a constellation of quiet minds under one infinite sky. Your presence, your words, even your silence, they're like little stars guiding me forward. The universe may be vast and ancient, but in this small corner we have found connection, and that connection is everything. So rest now, traveler. The galaxies will keep moving, the light will keep shining, and when you close your eyes, remember, you are made of the same material as the stars, and the universe is still thinking through you. Drift gently into the night, knowing you are part of the quiet answer.